What's going on, people? AC Milan 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. It's the post-match fan show. Let's see. Oh, yeah, great. Sorry, I don't know what came over me there. Yeah, Brian. Yep. Obviously, we just spoke about it. Just going to some comments here from Skip after the game. He said, I enjoyed every minute of it, not the result we wanted, but there's a second leg to come and we're right in the game, so we'll take the positives. Nice to make my debut from the start anyway. Playing in the Champions League is what you dream of as a kid. It wasn't the best start. I think after 10 minutes it was a goal we didn't need to concede. Neither side created too many chances, I feel, but there's a second leg and something to come back from. On Antonio Conte, trusting him and Pape Sarr to start, I think we would have delivered with a win, but me and Pape did well, and it's nice to have the manager's trust. Hopefully we repaid it. There were a couple of times when they were dangerous on the counter-attack, threats from forward runners. We had loads of set pieces into the box and created chances. It's only the first leg. We're still in it, and we know with our fans that we can make it a dangerous tie at home. Is that a fair assessment, Brian?
Yeah, it is a fair assessment. Completely agree. Listen, 1-0, it's definitely not over. It's definitely not over. There's everything to play for. Like you said, European nights under that new stadium is exactly what that stadium was designed for. We've seen what kind of noise and atmosphere the home support can create. And we're not dead. We're not dead in the water at all. There's a lot to play for. I think there's more positives than negatives to take out of the game. I think a negative I'm sure we'll discuss during this fan show is the lack of creativity and what we mentioned before, just the lack of movement. We seem very static at times. We need someone to be able to put their foot on the ball and just create something, and I think we're missing that, especially with Kulusevski and Son being off the boil in that department where you'd normally rely on it for them. But then you look at the positives in Sip and Scar. Which is their new names as the double act. It's Sip and Scar. Again, Emerson had a positive performance. And there's a lot more to... Put it this way, I'm taking a lot more away from this game in a positive light than I was Leicester. Let's put it that way for sure. And I can see a certain person in the fan just nodding his head there. I look forward to... And he's nodding his head again. He knows who he is. So I look forward to seeing what he has to say about it. But yeah, I think... We've got a fair thing to look at, and there's a few people as well, and we can talk about it. And Ronnie is saying it as well. The referee did seem very, very in Milan's favour, didn't he? I mean, we always say going into games, the ref was this, the ref was that. But I think it's very, very easy to wave the yellow card at Spurs players, and like you said on a number of occasions, the holding of Harry Kane and other things would have warranted a yellow card or a cumulative yellow card because of the amount of challenges, and we didn't seem to have the rub of the green there. But like I said, I'm taking more positives from this game than I am negatives.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it'll be interesting to see what the fans say. Obviously, we're at the top of the roller coaster against Manchester City. We're at the bottom of the roller coaster after the Leicester game. Yep. And we're kind of, I don't know, in the middle at the moment after that game. Look, this is what, kind of people were saying that, why are you guys happy with a 1-0 loss? I mean, we're not happy, but bearing in mind that this is another 90 minutes, that's what I think we need to remember. It's not you can't go out and win these types of games after the first leg, but you certainly can lose them. And obviously, AC Milan had those chances right at the end. Yeah. It could have been 3-0. It could be a completely different story. We could have meltdowns everywhere. But we're still in this game. We're still in this tie. We've got a massive opportunity to get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And look, who knows where we're going to end up. There's still plenty of games to play. Still so many twists and turns. I think we just, like I kind of said at the end of last season, we have to take everything game by game. And if we do that, and we do, and if we win the phases of games or more phases of games in each individual game, then by the end of the season we'll ultimately finish where we should do, not where people believe we would finish or anything else. So look, we've got what 25 games left if we go deep in the FA Cup and the Champions League. So look, it's all to play for. It's all to play for. So anyway, let's get into the callers. And the first person
is the head bobber. is the one that we've been waiting to see.
Is Michael.
How are we doing, Michael?
I'm
brother?
calling everyone by different names, obviously, as in true watch-along fashions. And Michael,
you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Or we haven't got the volume up.
No,
we had the volume
It's
up.
me.
There you go. We can hear you.
How you doing, buddy?
It's me.
Actually, that Michael thing that's below my name, it's not me, it's the host. I write it as Michael, A-E, and the host is writing it as E-A. So that's on him, not on me. And it's not the first time it's happening. So I'm looking at you guys.
You know what, Vinny?
Wow. Wow.
We're giving a huge praise to the back end.
It's
and everything
me.
that they do.
Calling you out.
Vinny's the
Calling
problem.
you
It's
out.
him.
Again.
There we go. There we go.
Yay.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay,
Big up.
Michael.
Big up. Big up.
Big up.
What,
Big up
what's
the
your
host.
what's your thoughts, my brother?
Actually, funnily enough, I missed the first half because I was at a concert with my girlfriend for the Valentine's Day. The concert was enjoyable compared to the game that I watched in the second half. So you know, no,
Is
but
that why you're still head bobbing, Michael? You had the theme tune and everything you were listening to in the back end.
but possibly, yeah. But no. In general, I listen. I don't think that the second half was much different than the first half. Correct me if I'm wrong. From what I gathered, like from other friends who were watching the game, I think that we necessarily weren't like super bad in the back line, but we were kind of bad in the front line, and I think that's a bit concerning for me because we can all like whine and moan about the defensive line, but we all say that because it's a 1-0 we might we are still in it, we will like put up the game on our ground, right? But from our front line, from what I saw from them today, fuck me, they never looked like scoring, and that's concerning. Like I don't know what you guys think about it, but for me, like some of our players in the front line were anonymous. I also like before maybe you answer, right? I think that the referee allowed too much in terms of marking Harry Kane out of the game. I think both of the center backs from AC Milan were really tight, and they fouled him like 4 or 5 times each, and they never got booked for it. And like cumulative breaking the law of the game should result in a yellow card, right? And I'm not saying Romero and Dyer shouldn't get yellow cards because those challenges were yellow card worthy, right? But we have to talk about Romero, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think if the referee was more strict towards AC Milan center backs, I think maybe we would have seen a bit like different game if Kier or the other guy were on a yellow card. Then maybe they couldn't like keep so tight to Harry Kane, but he got literally marked out of the game. And same thing for Kulusevski. I think that they aggressively pushed him. They weren't like, sorry for swearing again, fucking about. So whenever he tried to dribble past someone, boom, clattered, knocked off the ball. And I think he doesn't look confident right now in his body. Maybe he's still carrying a knock or something, because we kind of rushed him back from an injury. So I don't know, maybe there is an issue with Kulusevski there. But yeah, our attack was bad, really bad today. I don't know what you boys think about it.
So yeah, I mean, like, as we were saying just before you came on, Michael, I think we're very static moving forward. And obviously we've spoken about Son a lot this season, about how he hasn't been on form, and he's come in for a lot of criticism, and rightly so in my opinion. Kulusevski has certainly come in for criticism in the last couple of games. I think it's totally warranted. Like Nick said, I think again he's another player that's been rushed back from injury, because we haven't had that quality there, or the depth or the attacking options. And obviously we do now with Danjuma and Richarlison, and we were obviously using Hill for a bit before we sent him out on loan.
Yeah.
So when we have this squad now, we have these options, you have to use them. you have to use them, even if it's to give these guys a rest to recover from the sheer amount of games they've played, and Son as well at the World Cup. So I think moving forward, we just don't have any creativity. We don't have anyone that's willing to get their foot on the ball and let's say like a Ginola, and get the ball and take on his man and try the unexpected. And it's starting to be a problem. So I agree with you. I mean, Kane did what he could, but I mean, I can only really say what I saw Kane do today was hold the ball up really, really well. It wasn't one of his games where. Go on, Michael.
Then he immediately got cluttered, right? So he was holding the ball, and then suddenly this Milan centre back goes through his back and knocks him to the ground. And they did it 4 times, and they weren't booked for it. Like I think it was a joke, because Kane actually was doing his job, right? And if the target of such like behavior on the pitch is to get like the opposition centre back booked, right? And they weren't booked, so they kept doing it. And I don't know. I really don't like whining about referees, but as someone said, I think he was really like yellow card happy towards our players, and he was forgiving towards the Milan players, in my opinion, a bit. Like it's nothing. I'm not doing any conspiracy theories, corrupt, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that, right? It's just I think maybe he was a bit less strict with Milan players.
Sorry, Michael, I'm just pissing off for a bit.
No worries, mate. No worries.
He's had enough, Michael. He's had enough.
Yeah.
He's had enough, mate. He's had enough. He's had enough. He said he's complaining. He's moaning about his name. He's turned into a diva. And look at what's going on. No, you don't. You're not even on camera, Brian. Don't even. Just go away. Just go away, Brian. It's fine, man. Just go away. Just go away. Anyway, Michael, Tottenham manager Antonio Conte speaking to BT Sport. I think it was better today and high intensity, and I think we played against a good team. And don't forget, Milan last season won the league in Italy. I think that to concede the first goal, we can do much better. Instead, we conceded a goal after maybe only 5 minutes. Then we tried to lead the game and create a situation to score, but I think Milan defended very well. We created the chances to score, but in the end, we're talking about a defeat, a loss. Yeah, I'm guessing Conte, he came and he said he knows that it's difficult playing there. But yeah, the second half was probably a bit of a bore fest, if I'm honest, Michael.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll turn it around in the second leg?
I hope we will. Whether we do it or not is honestly kind of, as I said, I'm a bit concerned. I know that the next leg is in 3 weeks, right? So a lot of shit can happen in 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks further forward, we can speak about Kane being on another 5 goals, and everything will be rosy or whatever. Or maybe someone else gets injured and we are even more fucked than we are right now, right? So it's really hard to predict. But judging based on today's game, I think AC Milan were really solid in the back line. As I said, with a bit of help from the referee, but I think overall, their wing backs had our wing backs kind of pocketed, and Perisic and Royal again, they couldn't hit a bar door with those crosses. Seriously, I don't think I've seen 1 or 2 crosses hit the intended target. And
there was that one from Emerson that he felt kind of was being grappled on the ground, and then he got the ball into the penalty spot, and it went out for a corner or a throw or whatever that Son had a chance. But apart from that, there wasn't much creativity. I'll give you that today, Michael, and I think that was for a number of factors. But yeah, Pape, go on. Go on.
No worries. I think we kind of lack some decision making, in my opinion. I have a feeling when I watch our front three and players that try to support them, I think we are kind of trying to work the ball into the box too hard. I think sometimes we should just take a shot from distance. The issue is that other than Son, we don't really have good shooters from distance. Kane used to do it, but I haven't seen him score a goal from distance in a long time. And the last one was maybe against Forest like this season, but it was really a scuffed shot that necessarily shouldn't be a goal.
Fulham?
But I think we should Fulham. Yeah, Fulham right outside of the box, right? But when the opposition is low blocking, you should be trying to like dismantle them somehow, right? And you can see United did this against us. They were constantly peppering the box, peppering the goal from outside the box, right? And it actually worked. We cracked after some time, right? So I think we are trying a bit too hard to work the ball towards the wings and try to cross it. And when the opposition is slow blocking and they have 3 defenders against our 2 attackers or whatever, right? I think it's really hard to make do with that, even though like Kane is really good at winning headers. So I wish someone like took it upon their shoulders to actually try and like take a shot from distance. And I know like Son can do it. I know Højbjerg wasn't playing this game, but he actually can unleash somewhat of a good shot, right? By the way, you started asking me about Skip and Sar. I think they actually kind of did the job today. Like, of course, they got sometimes dribbled or passed by the opposition, right? But I mean, come on, it's AC Milan. It's not like we are playing like second division team or something, right? Those are good players. Even like our best midfielders would get dribbled past from time to time, right? So I don't think like there was a huge drop in level compared with like this performance by Skip and Sar wasn't like bad. I think they were kind of solid. I didn't see the first half, but in the second half, I think they didn't do like much wrong. And I think, listen, I've seen someone arguing like on Reddit or something whether we should bring on subs earlier, right? What's your guys take on it? Because
I think Michael, I think for me it was very similar to the Manchester City game where you're calling for subs to change the game, but like Antonio Conte's just come out and said, he said for qualification you have to play 2 games. It's the first game away and the atmosphere was fantastic. I know the San Siro and I know the difficulty to play with this atmosphere. In the second game we have to play at our stadium and our fans will create the atmosphere to help us overcome the Milan obstacle. Look, they've got a terrible record. Milan have got a terrible record away from home in Europe against English teams. In terms of them playing and everything else, look, I think that he's more relaxed now because he knows he can count on them. He said it as well. He said he can count on Sar and Skip 100%, and we have Højbjerg who is a key player. So look, I get it, and I get everything else, but look, we were doom and gloom saying our season's over. Now Sar's coming and probably been, I would say, arguably our man of the match. So now we're going to say, don't worry, it's not going to. I mean, look, we can't sit there and say we don't want Sar and Skip to start, or we think Bentancur and Højbjerg is our best midfield, and then when they play, not you, Michael, but we as fans kind of say, oh, well, we're worried now. We're worried now. The same with Lloris. Everyone was calling for Lloris to be dropped. The moment he gets injured, oh, well, Forster's not good enough. Well, hang on a minute. You wanted him Hugo Lloris dropped a couple of weeks ago. Now he's injured for 6 to 8 weeks. I think we're very, very quick to jump on a certain narrative just to suit kind of what's happening in a situation. Look, today I thought we were going to nick something. Am I disappointed we didn't nick something? Absolutely. But am I disappointed that we're still in this tie? No. We know we can score 2 goals at home. We can score 3 goals at home. It doesn't really matter. I know for a fact that stadium is going to be rocking. Okay, we've had the group games. They weren't exactly teams to set the world on fire, but AC Milan, round of 16 in the Champions League, get through to the quarterfinals. That's going to be rocking, right? And yeah, I think Conte said it as well. We certainly couldn't win and go through tonight, but we certainly could potentially be on the brink of being knocked out. And with Milan not taking their chances in the second half, it could have been a completely different story.
Yeah. The reason why I brought up the subs thing, right, is I actually think that, as you say, as Conte and you rightly pointed out, it's a Champions League tie. It's played over 2 legs, and I think like risking it all and throwing a kitchen sink at it, this this match, I think it would have been a bad decision, right? Because imagine if we actually went to a 4-4, which Conte sometimes does, right? And we actually considered those 2 chances that Milan had, right? It's 3-0, it's over. We aren't scoring 4 goals and keeping a clean sheet at our ground, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much impossible to do that. So I've seen people criticizing him again for bringing players really late on. And listen, maybe Richarlison and Danjuma should have been given a bit more time, right? But I'm not mad that he didn't change the formation. I'm not mad that we stayed with a back three. And I think that a 1-0, 1-0 scoreline maybe flatters us a bit again with those chances that Milan had at the end of the game.
Yep.
But I think we are still massively in it, right? We've seen crazier things happen in Champions League, and overcoming a 1-0 defeat away is not really a challenge if we put up our A game in the home tie, right? And as you said, home advantage is huge in Champions League nights, right? I seriously haven't heard a second of silence today when the whole San Siro or the majority of fans were constantly singing. It's a huge stadium, huge atmosphere, right? So going out of there with a 1-0, I'm not mad. I cannot say I'm mad about this performance, right? I'm a bit concerned with the injuries. I'm a bit concerned with the lack of creativity and fluidity in attack, but I think it is doable. It is doable to win. So yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
Mikey, let me ask you a question now. With Eric Dyer suspended for the return leg, what is your defensive three? Because we're obviously going to play a back three as well. What would you pick?
Blessing in disguise.
Every cloud has a silver lining, but what is how are you setting up the defensive three?
Yeah, of course Romero on the right, but again, quickly before I go to other two, we need to talk about this guy rushing out of defense and clattering someone.
Yeah,
It's I think I've heard it's 5th straight match that he got a yellow card.
yeah, and I think I honestly think looking at it should have been a red. In all honesty.
Yeah, it was a reckless challenge. It was unnecessary. I know what he's trying to do, but last season he had his timing right. He was doing such things, but he was actually doing it well. He was getting the ball. This season, only in January, I've seen him do this 5 times, right? Today against Newcastle, against Arsenal, against City, against Villa, you can go on, right? So this guy needs to either stop doing it or get his timing right, because he's going to get a red card eventually, right? For such challenges, because as you said, I really couldn't complain. When I watched the replay of this challenge in slow motion, I couldn't complain if he got a red card after that. Seriously, he basically clattered his leg nowhere near the ball, just went straight for the legs. And honestly, the guy could have been injured. He could have been killed, like Ferguson said, right? And he has to change something about this game. And I've seen plenty of people talking about him needing an experienced head to calm him down, to order him a bit, to order him around. Because right now, I think he's trying too hard to make the difference, and he needs someone to say to him, "No, Christian, stay back. You don't need to go there. We hold our defensive line, whatever." Right? But coming back to your original question, I still think, listen, even with that, he's still the best defender at our club. that just goes to show what the level of defenders we have, right? With Dyer suspended, I think we will go with Langley in the middle and Davies on the left.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be much opposed to Sanchez on the right, Romero in the center, and Langley or Davies on the left. but I don't think we will do it. I think that the first version that I gave you will be the one that we will see.
Yeah. Unless there's any more injuries, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, of course, touch wood.
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Michael. As always, go back and enjoy your Valentine's Day evening.
She's already asleep.
Oh, she's already asleep. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Go and wake her up. Go and wake her up.
Always a pleasure, Michael. We'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, always a pleasure, guys.
Take care.
Big up, Michael.
Take care, bye.
Take care. Bye.
So we'll keep moving on.
Hopefully we've spelt this gentleman's name
we've
right.
gone from Michael to Mike. So let's bring him on. How are we doing, Mike?
Thanks for having me on, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
All good. Yourself?
I can't complain. You know what? So I think the 1-0 is not a terrible scoreline.
Okay, so what was bloody hell? How many? What's
up, Doc?
Where do you want to start? What impressed you the most during that game? Let's start there.
Skip and Sar. Let's start there.
Okay.
You know what? There's light. It's not all darkness. We can relax. This is not doom and gloom. We'll be okay.
I have to say, was it actually the first time that they've been on the pitch together?
Yeah.
In a professional match, let alone 90 minutes away in a Champions League game at the San Siro. I think that might be the very first time they spent minutes together on the actual in a professional match, and I think they were outstanding together.
Hold 2 kids under 20, 21. We love to see it. See it.
Who impressed you the most out of the two?
You know, I think Sar was very progressive. Every time he got the ball, he looked forward. He didn't look to pass it backwards, and I love that out of a midfielder. You always look forward. You always want to be direct. You don't look to pass backwards to your center backs. Passing to the wings is acceptable, but like he didn't spend long on the ball. It was one touch, look, bang, a pass. So that's what I noticed. It was very quick. It was very neat. He has a very good sense of where his teammates are. He has a very good sense of where he wants the ball to go. If I was to scout him, I'd say he's quick. He has great recovery speed. He has good vision. I think his tackling could use some work, but it is what it is.
Yep,
He's a good young player. I like it.
Have to say as well, Leslie Crawford, thank you very much. Apparently they played some minutes together in the 4-0 win at Palace. I know. I can't remember. Yeah, I was there. I should have remembered that. But well done, mate. What can I remember? But yes. So what other positives did you see, or is it negatives you'd want to talk about?
You know what? Let's keep it positive for now. So I think Sonny actually had a good game.
Seriously?
So let's talk about it, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Almost every dangerous ball that came in was from him. Now, granted, if you're going to look at XG, Spurs only had 0.06 XG compared to 1.5 of Milan, but almost every good set piece, almost every good run was from Son. Kane was marked out of the game, and that's not entirely his fault because Kier probably should have gotten a yellow. And Kulusevski was off the boil too. So besides Perisic had a decent game too. Skip and Sar, I think those were pretty good positives.
I agree. I do agree with you. I must admit, I do agree with you when it comes to Son with his set pieces. They were a lot better today.
They were on point, and they were unlucky to not score. Unlucky.
I'll take back and say, yeah, I just think his overall game is still a shadow. Would you put it this way? Would you start him in the return leg at White Hart Lane, or would you
Absolutely.
like to? Absolutely. What about Kulusevski then? Let's move on to the other side. How are you feeling about Kulusevski?
I'm going to say I agree with what you guys were saying with the panel earlier, with Michael earlier. I think he's carrying a knock because I don't see the same level of explosiveness trying to beat the man. Because usually if he's being marked, he has the ability to kick the ball and run, right? Or to pick out a pass. And right now he looks half a step slow because I think he was rushed back from injury. And I don't think it's his fault. I think that normally he's an incredibly talented player.
Correct.
But I think right now he's carrying a knock, and I don't think he got the time to recover.
I honestly think you're right there. And also, you look at it, some of those things he was trying to do, like that when he lets the ball run through him and he spins and turns, he's just lost that sharpness when he turns to just get that. He's not blessed with pace, but his football brain helps him get away from people. And I just don't think that, like you said, I think he has been rushed back.
So he's super shifty and he has very quick acceleration, which lets him beat people. I don't think in straight line over 60 meters he's going to beat Sonny, but if you're going to look for cut on a dime pace, I think Kulusevski's got it when he's healthy. And right now, I don't think he's completely healthy. And if you're gonna press me, I'd say, probably Danjuma or Richarlison probably deserves a shot.
Who would you go for? Because obviously we've seen Richarlison on the right, and it hasn't quite worked out. So if it was to be, let's say, Kulusevski that was rested, are you moving Son over to the right to get the best out of Richarlison on the left, which is where we're believed to say that's like his strongest point down the flank? Or are you saying, no, we'll go Danjuma? Or, as Nick Barryson, Phil Grant said, and a few others, would you give Porro a chance?
I would. So check me out. So I would actually, and this might sound wild to a lot of people, but 4-4-2 is actually not a bad shout with the way things are right now. Back four of, put Davies back at left back. Center backs are Longmay, Romero, or, Dyer Romero, whatever. And right back is Emerson. Emerson is actually a good right back. And you saw that today because he was playing primarily as a right back. The mid four of Sonny, Sarr, Højbjerg, or Skip, either or. And then on the right, you can either have Kulusevski or Porro. I think Porro has been played as a right midfielder before. He's, traditionally very good there. And as a top two, you have Kane and Richarlison. I think they looked really good together.
I agree. I want to see more Richarlison.
Yes. Is he a very good crosser of the ball? Yes, but you're also taking out Sonny's best ability, which is getting into space.
Yeah, you raised some good points, but you mentioned as well, obviously, with the back four, if it was to be that way, and you mentioned it yourself, Dyer's out for the next round because he picked up that yellow card, so he's suspended. So with Dyer being out, would you still say you'd like to see a back four? And if it was a back four, obviously you said Emerson at right, you got to be Perisic left. Who would be your centre back with Romero?
No, I would put Davies on left.
Okay,
and then you're gonna have Lenglet, Romero in the middle.
What do you think, Nick? Would you go 4-4-2?
I don't think anything's going to change in terms of the formation. I think we're going to go as we have done. You reckon we will?
So I have a question, you guys.
Let's go.
This goes to you guys and the rest of Spurs. Do you guys regard Romero as a top center back? Because I think honestly he's overrated.
Oh, do you know what? Before we came in here, I was listening to a Twitter space, and I've seen it on Twitter and everything at the moment. This is starting to be a big talking point. Whether he is as good as he is. And I think, just like Michael said, last season he was outstanding. When we bought him, he came with this big reputation, and he lived up to it every single
okay, so this might sound like sacrilege, but I don't think he's a top center back.
This is the thing. I mean, I think he is.
Okay. Let's hey Daigle, let's go down the list, okay?
Let's go.
Saliba,
let's do it.
Saliba, Gabriel, Stones, Diaz, Varane, Martinez, Licha Martinez, Van Dijk, Thiago Silva. That's 8 center backs better than him. He's not a top center back. He's not.
Listen, Saliba's had one season. And I ain't just saying that because he's in Arsenal. For me, he has been defender of the season. For me, what he's doing what he's done this season for Arsenal is incredible. But it's his first full season.
He's not a top center back. I know this is sacrilege, but
I know. Do you know what? I understand where you're coming from. But defenders can have a bad run of form, and I think he's going for a bad run of form. And also, what I think doesn't help is he needs some top quality around him. And we've seen. Listen, we know that how badly we need central defenders. We know how bad. If we'd brought in a De Vrij, someone like that, an experienced person to go in the centre and say, right, listen, you lead my. Then I think we'll see a different side of him. I think
Sven Botman's had a better career than better year or two than Romero too.
Listen, like you said, no doubt this season he's not been on top form. I completely agree with that, Romero. Completely agree with that. And the defenders you mentioned, a lot of them are having better seasons than him. But Saliba, if he could do this if he does the same next season, then carries on the way he started this season. And like I said, for me, he's been the best defender in the Premier League this year, bar none. And then did it again. Then you're talking. I just think Romero is having a shit season, to be honest. I still think there is a damn good player there. I tell you what, saw
absolutely, but as it stands right now, he's not a top center back. Just like Sonny's not a top forward right now. But it's sacrilege to say Romero is not a top center back, but it's easy to get on Sonny.
Do you know what? You raised a very good point there. You raise a very, very good point there. For me, like that good old saying that, what is it? Form is temporary, class is permanent. I think that's where we are with both of them at the moment. But I see where you're coming from, and like we said, we were all saying on Saturday, and I was here, which just goes to prove to you, Nick, that it wasn't me sitting in that seat. I've lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah, we were all saying on Saturday. We're all saying. I was talking to you about it as well. So on Saturday, Mike, that we were saying that performance on Saturday against Leicester. Mm-hmm. If Romero was there, it would be different. Romero is the difference. Blah blah. And then obviously he's coming tonight, and he's not had a good game. So again, I think that whole defence needs reconstructive surgery, open heart surgery. But. I am completely. Do you know what? You've honestly raised some very, very good points.
Because I'm going to say this: Romero was very lucky to not get sent off. I know a lot of people are belly aching about the ref.
Agreed.
If you're gonna say all things considered, Romero not getting sent off is the same as Kier not getting that yellow. In fact, if Romero gets sent off there, I guarantee it's more than 1-0. I guarantee it's more than 1-0. That ref saved Spurs' tie. He really did. That tackle was studs up, full extension onto Tonali's leg. That dude should have gotten sent off. I'm sorry. That's a textbook red.
Okay, but he wasn't. It was reviewed, and they didn't deem it to overturn the decision.
If that had been 10 yards deeper, close towards our penalty area, I think he's walking.
That's the letter. That's the rules. The rules say if your studs are up, leg fully extended, he doesn't even play the ball.
She's right.
It's a red. That ref saved Spurs. I know refs catch a lot of flack, and should Kayer have gotten a yellow for being too close up the cane and getting multiple fouls? Absolutely, but dude, let's be real. That ref saved the tie.
I'm in agreement. So, final thing for you. You think it's all about, what do you reckon? We're going to go through in the second leg? We'll turn it over?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? If anything, this proves that Milan don't have what it takes to beat a Spurs team that's absolutely bereft of talent right now. You know what I mean? The players just aren't healthy. They had no starting midfield, right? Bentancur and Højbjerg weren't there. And a backline also bereft of talent. And, they squeaked out a 1-0 win. Could they have made it 2-0? Oh, absolutely. But Spurs could definitely put more than 2 past Milan at home. Spurs to go on. Come on, you Spurs.
There we go. Mike, always a pleasure, buddy. And we'll speak to you on the next one.
Big up.
Take care, buddy.
Big up, Mike.
Great call. I love speaking to that dude. Really, really good call. Okay, so next person. We got Elias coming on. So big up, Elias. How are you, brother?
I'm doing okay. I just had a very boring watch along on my channel. I think the game overall was very boring.
Okay, so talk to us. What do you take from that game?
I think it was It was a okay game overall. Like, because when I saw the lineup today, I was expecting that we may concede like 2 or 3 goals, to be honest. But
What?
having
Because
just
Eric Dyer's
considered,
in defence, yeah.
yeah, because Eric Dyer is in defense. uh, and Eric Dyer is in defense, and also I was not very confident about Emerson Royale and definitely Perisic. I mean, since recently he has been playing all the games, I don't know how much he has in his legs as well, because he's not the best of the defenders too. But overall, just the fact that we only conceded 1 goal, and we have a real chance still at the home fixture to turn the tie in our favor, I think is a little positive to look at it. But overall, I think it's still not good enough the way we performed. Conceding a goal in the first 6 minutes for this back line, uh, I think that just ruined the thing for us. Since then, I think we looked kind of like okay, we were in a bit of a control, but it's not good enough that once you have conceded a goal in the first 6 minutes against a side like AC Milan, which has been struggling lately, it's uh it's kind of unacceptable as well. You should have won. You should have won that game. I mean, the kind of quality that they showed today, I'm not impressed overall by anything except the fact that their defense had a good performance. Like, their defense really kept us where like they didn't allow our forwards to be involved. Like Kulu and Kane, I think they were not involved at all in the final third for any of the creation or even in the goals. They look bad to me.
Okay, but what do you mean you were upset because you saw Emerson Royale in the
I knew it.
in the back line after the way that he's played the last few games? You weren't happy that he was playing.
Not to say I was not particularly Emerson Royale, but I was actually still surprised that he
Okay,
wanted to make.
Elias, you said not particularly Emerson Royale, but you said Emerson Royale. So I'm going to call you up on what you've said. Not. Don't
Okay,
try and flip flop away from not just
okay,
Emerson Royale, because
okay, okay,
my
okay,
my
okay.
po- my point is today. If Pedro Porro plays today, we are getting smashed in that game because Leao and
I
Hernandez
agree
would
with
have
you.
absolutely torn him apart.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay, the reason why I said Emerson Royal is because I was not expecting that Milan would have a defense like this at the moment, and they didn't have any form of creation as well, which could have actually really upset us in terms of our defense. Because when you have Romero, I think you are kind of slack, kind of relaxed in a way. But yeah, looking at the game now, I do understand why Emerson Royal did play a crucial part in that game. However, when I looked at the lineup, I think we lack the players who can actually give you that quality in the final third. So with Pedro Porro and the kind of player he is in the Champions League lately for Sporting, and the way he actually crosses into the box and all that, I think we missed that. But despite the fact that I think Emerson Royal had a good game, because without him, I think we would have conceded 2 goals at least. He had a good game.
Yeah.
But do you know what? We've spoken obviously defensively, and I have to say, it was at the Fulham game that we did where you were going mad about Emerson, and the wine gums really started to kick in on your first
You've done a
time.
no-look pass in the first 5 minutes, man.
No, but
Come
I'm
on.
saying since the Fulham game, he has played very, very well. There's no getting away from it. It's definitely been his best period as a Spurs player.
He
But
has
what I want to speak
played
to you.
defensively very well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like just the moving away from the defence, I think what we need to talk about, we spoke about it a lot in the second half, and it seems to be spoken about, is obviously how static we are and the lack of creativity and the lack of movement when we're going forward. I watch. We all watch a lot of football, and one thing I do see with the Premier League, there's always runners off the ball. There's always movement. But when you watch Spurs, it's like we get the ball and we walk and we struggle and we're looking for passes. What do you reckon's lacking in this career? What are we missing right now, and how do we solve this with what we've got?
I think we are missing a creative midfielder, first of all. I think now having Bentancur out and Højbjerg out, definitely. Uh, Now, this is one thing I feel like when you have a creative midfielder, even if he's playing as a winger, like as a right winger or either a left winger, it still gives you a bit more versatility in that 3-4-3 system. Like, you can just put that creative midfielder behind the two forwards, and then you go into that you get the forwards going. Like let's say if Kulusevski can be a natural creative attacking midfielder who can play in that role and get Kane and Son firing, I think that would have been great. But right now he is not that kind of player as well. He can play, I think, the central midfield, but he's again, I don't think he can play that well as a creative attacking midfielder
Excuse me.
because he's a bit more of a wider player. If you look at his stats, he plays well towards as a winger. Uh, and I think we should really, if in summer we need to get someone like James Maddison, because when you have James Maddison, even if he's playing, let's say, as a right winger, he can actually give you that form of creativity from the middle too. Like he can just drop in a little bit deep and then get Kane or Son going forward. And right now we are missing that. It is that missing piece in that whole jigsaw of 3-4-2-1.
There we go. I mean, we look at it. Do you reckon? Obviously, getting Dan Juma or bloody
Jan Duma,
I have got no
Dan
idea what
Juma.
Dan Juma.
Dan Jumagic.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And or Richarlison. I think we've got to look like Nick said and like we've been saying. We have this depth of quality or depth of quality now to be able to change this front line up. It hasn't got to be just Son, Kane, Kulusevski. And like you said, rightly so, who would have known that Sarr and Skip could perform like that unless we'd had the injuries of our midfield and suspension of Højbjerg? We never would have known because they wouldn't have got the chance. But would you like to see, maybe not in the Champions League, but maybe against Sheffield United in the FA Cup where we can, like Nick said, relax? Would you like to see a different front three start? I mean, Kane, at the moment, like it or not, he has to start because he doesn't stop scoring.
Yep. I think Kane today had a pretty poor performance. If I were to say that this game and the last Leicester game is one of the worst performances of Kane I've seen this season actually. And same goes for Kulusevski as well. For the games like Sheffield United or the Leicester games, I do agree that yes, I think we should give someone like Danjuma a chance for only those games when we are playing like the teams that are not good enough, because I don't think he can perform against even West Ham. I don't think Danjuma can perform against teams like Chelsea or any of the top 8 or 9 teams. I don't think Danjuma is good enough to perform against those teams. Even let's say you want to give him some minutes, I think have that in mind that okay, you give him like let's say first 45 minutes or 50 minutes and then you bring in Son like what we did for the Leicester game earlier on when you played Richarlison, because again you just can't drop your top players straight away. Despite the fact that yes, Son has been having a poor form, I think he's still our best player in that position.
Okay. And then a final question for you, Elias. With obviously Dyer suspended for the second leg, who is the defensive three you're going for to start against Milan?
I think it would be Langley, Davis, and Romero, or it could be Sanchez, Romero, or Langley. But I'll prefer very much Langley, Davis, and Romero.
That seems to be the common theme, don't it, Nick?
It does. Well, that's the only option, I think.
Well, there you go. So, Elias, thank you very much for coming on, buddy. We'll speak
Thanks so
soon.
much, guys, for having me.
Pleasure as always, mate. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Okay, it's time.
Oh no, everybody! Lock up your doors. KPV is coming to town.
It's me. It's KPV.
Are you feeling all right? You went. That was like, it's me. It's me.
Is it me you're
looking for?
Okay,
Oh
so
my God, not a doubt,
Jesus.
man.
oh my God, it's passive wanker.
Hello.
Second
It's
hand wanker.
KPV.
It's
How
not
are we doing, KPV?
Okay, like I agree what Dermot said. I'll happily take a 1-0 loss. Like
Dermot?
Who?
Dermotron, you know Dermotron, THS.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I thought you meant on this show. I was like, he ain't been on here.
What are you talking about, KPV?
Let me tell you something, brother. In the words of
Okay.
Hulk Hogan.
Okay. Can
Like,
you unblock me?
Harry, shut up, man. How many times am I going to say I'm not blocking you? Then Sim need to shut the fuck up about that. Come on.
Yeah, Ben and Sim.
But yeah.
You need to.
you were saying, KPV, back to what you think.
Yeah, what do you think, KPV? You jabroni.
Oh my God! They're copying me. What I say about the Rock, eh? Is that you on it? He's gonna shove it straight up AC Milan's candy, yeah.
Okay, back to what you think, KPV.
He
What
just
do you-
told you what he thought.
Yeah, I don't care what the Rock. Actually, I'd never say I don't care what the
It
Rock.
doesn't matter what you think, Brian. It's what KPV thinks.
Okay, we've lost all control of this show. We've lost all control. Let's start this again. KPV, what were your thoughts about today's performance? Not Dermatron's, not the Rock's, not Nick's. Yours.
Oh, I actually thought we played well. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, 1-0 loss isn't bad because you saw what we done against Ajax. We lost 1-0 home, then went to Amsterdam and won 3-2. So I said that just a minute ago. Yeah, on what's the name channel. So yeah, repeat of Amsterdam, 1-0 from the first leg, we go 2-0 down in the second leg and come back and win 3-2. So if those lot do it and we come back, then why not? Like I said it just a couple minutes ago. And so I actually thought we were brilliant. First half, Kane was fouled and he probably won a few free kicks, but Son set pieces, they're not working as they used to for South Korea because he can score free kicks. But I think Perisic knows how to take them. But Son and Perisic, the only two set piece takers. I actually thought Star and Skip were immense tonight. That's what. Yeah, Star and Skip were immense. Yeah, tonight.
okay.
They were
What about
really-
Emerson, KPV? How do you think about him?
Oh my God. Your boy, Emerson Chicken Royale, eh?
Oh, yeah, whoa, KPV. There's no more chicken royale. He's prime steak, man.
In the words of David Harris, his name's Chicken Royale, but his name's Steak Royale then, that's it.
Yeah, prime steak royale.
Prime Steak. I thought he had a good game. I think his crossing was probably okay, but it needs to do better. But the 8th of March, I'm going to the home game anyway, so I'll be there, and hopefully you're going there, Barry, and I wonder if Brian's going to do the watch-along with, Sai this time, because Sai was meant to be there Saturday, but he failed a late fitness test, so Asthmatic had to be a last substitute in the last minute.
And I was a substitute tonight, KPV. So, no,
Very
I'm not going to be at the AC Milan game. I'm going to be here, mate.
Oh, so you and Daigle doing it, yeah?
Me and Bob Spur, I
Meant to
believe.
be, yeah. At the moment, it's going to be Bob Spur.
Me and
Nick.
Bobs have done all the home Champions League ties this season. But if we get to the quarterfinals, when we get to the quarterfinals, I'll be going to the game.
Well, hopefully we will get Man City because we always seem to do them when they come to our house, and just like we did last weekend, not this one, the last one. So when they come to our house again, I'll be at that game and book your tickets for Istanbul, people.
It's already
We've got
booked,
our
mate.
rooms. We've got our rooms, but we've got our rooms booked for. I was about to say Milan.
Istanbul.
For Istanbul, should we get there? So yeah, let's have a chat. You mentioned Perisic as well. What were you thinking of Perisic?
Perisic, as I call him, Perisic. I thought, well, I know people are going to slay me, but I think he was a bit poor tonight. Crossing and throw-ins, I know he takes throw-ins, but free kicks from a few yards could have done a little bit better. But hopefully he can do better in the second leg because he hasn't scored yet. He normally scores goals, but yeah, we need him to score, man. Why can't he score? Come on, dude.
He's had his chances. He certainly has had his chances. And do you know who I do want to talk about? You're going on about Chicken Royale with him. I'm talking to I'm Alfie Devine's biggest fan. You got Emerson Royale's biggest fan. We're talking to Kulusevski's biggest fan, apparently. What's your thoughts on your boy Kulu's last few performances?
The shirt I'm wearing with Kulu, well, last few performances, he's let me down, but I've still got him in my Champions League fantasy team, and because with Bentancur out, and I ain't gonna bring him in, so like,
Yeah, don't.
he,
You won't be
he's
scoring
injured.
many points.
Like Kulu, I've got him in my Champions League team, fantasy team, and FPL team. Like, I'm not taking him out, that's for sure, because he's been brilliant since we signed him from Juventus, and like. But I know he's been bad, but hopefully he can do brilliant at home because he's done pretty well at home since the start of the season at home against the Saints when he scored the fourth. He scored a worldie. So everyone watch out for Kulusevski to score. I'll be there. And hopefully he can score. But he's let me down for the last few games since that Man City game at the Etihad, where that's what 2 times he scored there and he opened the scoring. Like he's not played since that game. But oh, is that me I can hear? Turn it off.
Is that you can hear?
You should be able to hear yourself.
You should be able to hear yourself, mate, when you're talking.
As I
KPV,
said,
KPV. I know why you were late, mate. I know why you were late. You had so many Valentine's cards today, yeah?
I haven't got one, man, because
What? The post? I was expecting the Royal Mail to come to your door in lorries, mate. What is this?
Like I thought so, but oh no, I haven't received one from the missus yet. But she's probably asking what I cook for dinner. I said, if you don't know, get to know.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know if Alex is watching.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Yeah, Alex, if you don't know, get to know, yeah?
There is the line of the fan show, people. You've heard
But-
it there.
Yeah, and anyway, while on Sunday against the Spammers, they just drew against Chelsea, but we should be beating them Sunday anyway because, like, we're gonna smack them anyway because they've only won once at our new stadium. So, come on, Sunday people, we're gonna beat them, and then we got Chelsea as well, who them I still don't like. I hate Arsenal more than I hate Chelsea and West Ham. So stand up if you hate Arsenal. Spears up if you're Champions League. Spears up if you're Champions League. Spears up if you're Champions League.
Whoa.
Well,
You know what? This interview with you, KPV, has gone from start to finish totally and utterly off the rails. And I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. More of this, please, Carl. Any closing remarks you have to say, KPV?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. Like
I was right, you did, yeah.
I said, like, as I said, 1-0, not a bad result. I think a good result. Like, yeah, not a bad result. Like, only 1 goal down. Like I said, Amsterdam, we won 3-2 after we went 2-0 down in the first half. But repeat, but now if we can get an early goal, like, as people already know, away goals don't count. That's been scrapped already. That was during the pandemic time that was got rid of. So they don't count. If AC Milan try and score, they're not going through because we need the crowd behind us, need to get behind the team. The stadium's going to be rocking, and I'll be screaming louder when Lucas comes on and scores the hat-trick again. Just like he did 5 years ago.
Put a bet on it, my friend. Put a bet on it. I think you'll become a very rich man.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do the moon boots bet as Moondog has, so no thanks. I'd rather do the Kulusevski bet or Lucas bet. So
Yeah, well, seeing that Dyer won't even be on the pitch because he's suspended, I wouldn't put any Dyer bets on.
Højbjerg might score because he scored against Marseille. So Højbjerg masterclass, and like it's another masterclass from Skip and Star and Emerson Prime Steak Royale. I got it right.
Yes, you got it right, Carl. You got it right.
Yeah.
Now, all you got to do is unblock me, mate, and then we'll be fine.
Sorry. Man.
KPV, it's always a pleasure, my friend, and we'll speak very, very soon.
Yeah, and let us know when we're getting the old Late Late Show back, because my 100% record is still intact and I'm still ahead of Hassan. So let us know.
It's you and Hassan, and we'll let you know. The Late Late Show will be coming back when I'm back in Canada. So me and Brian Ireland, who I know is in the background, my Tottenham on Tour, or one of the Tottenham on Tour partners, the co-founder with me, will be on shortly. So when I'm back in Canada with him, the Late Late Show on We Are Tottenham TV will be back.
Yeah, so KBV, if you don't know, get to know, right?
If you don't know, get to know AC Milan. So yeah, and if you don't know, get to know. That's all I'm saying. But while on Saturday, then Chelsea, and then the rest. But we're still winning the FA Cup, people. Believe. And if you don't know, get to know. I'm all peace.
Peace, brother, peace.
I'm
Big up.
off peace.
But you know what? Normally, it's whoever comes after this person that's about to come on, they've got something to follow. But now they've got.
Well, I'll tell you what he's got to follow. Follow up his crap prediction of losing 3-0 and getting slammed in the San Siro.
Well,
so I'm really looking forward to hear what he's got to say.
I'm also looking forward to. He's got to try and outdo that great interview with KPV. So last time he came on after Leicester and he started singing "Who Let the Dogs Out." We've been singing a bit here and there. So let's see what Stelios is singing tonight.
And he's on mute. Brilliant.
Of course.
Well done, Stel.
Well done, Stel.
Well done, Stel.
That beautiful voice of yours.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
We can hear you now.
So I saw Barry being mouthed out, but it didn't. We couldn't hear you, mate. So.
No. I was saying hello and how are you?
Oh, okay. I'm very well, Stel, because I didn't predict that we were going to get slapped 3-0, but you did. So.
Well, when you live rent-free in people's heads and all they think about is you, Barry, you know, I have that power on so many people.
Stel, go on, let's hear. What's your thoughts on tonight, my friend?
In the grand scheme of things, I think that we've kept ourselves in the tie. Why am I getting an echo?
I don't know. Vinny is checking it as we speak. Is that better?
Let me speak. Nope. Is it me? Is it you? Is it me? Is it you?
Oh, there you go. They're still singing. We got the singing out.
All right, let me just try my best.
All right.
I think in the grand scheme of things, it's a good result because we're still in the tie. I don't think many of us expected big things. Oh, this echo's awful. Do you want to bring Brian Ireland in? I'll come back and see if I can reset.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. He's rattled. He's gone running. He's running.
No, that he got rattled.
I'm joking.
Well, look at that. Brian Ireland got bumped up straight away.
Yeah,
I got bumped. What do you want from me?
My partner in crime.
Big up, Brian.
Tottenham on tour. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, guys. It was a tough watch, but it was okay. I didn't expect more, and it sort of was a 1-1 or a 1-0 result was where I was kind of at with it. So it finished where I thought it would.
Fantastic. And where do you want to start? What were the main positives you're taking from this island?
I think the ideal scenario, or the ideal thing to talk about here, is the midfield. I was terrified of Sarr and Skip, not because of the quality that they have in them both individually, but they hadn't played together. I think they played together once against Preston or something like that earlier in the season in an FA Cup tie. And coming in to fill in the shoes of Højbjerg and Bentancur is a bit of a stretch to ask for these very young players. But they were both really solid, arguably the two best players on the pitch. That was the thing that I really appreciated. I do think Royale had a very good game. As far as defensively it was concerned, was probably one of the better players on the pitch. He tried to get forward, had one good cross that I thought was very good. I think the front three were easily understood by their defense, and Conte didn't make a change where he needed to. They played three at the back for the first time. They played three at the back this season against any team. They played four at the back normally. But they countered Conte's 3 up front, knowing exactly how we'd play, and we didn't change. So Kane was marked out of the game, Sonny was marked out of the game, and so was Kulusevski. And we didn't do anything different to try to change what should have been changed in order to make something different happen up front, whether that's having Kane drop deep, having a different player come in, something to change what was going on. It was immediately obvious from the very first kick of the ball that that's what was going on, and nothing changed. Even when we brought on Richarlison for Kulusevski, it was a like for like. We didn't change the system at all, and I thought, as much as I love Conte, and I think like we all know he's a winner and all this stuff that we talk about in that scenario, I think he needs to figure out how to shift earlier and how to see what the other team is doing tactically to make a difference. And I don't think he did that in this game. And I think that's why, unfortunately, we didn't get any really clear-cut opportunities going forward. That was the thing that I struggled with. Other than that, I think we played all right. I think the goal they scored was a good goal, and it was a bit unlucky with some of the deflections. And it's too bad it happened the way it did. But I was just disappointed with the tactics from Conte. Again, as much as I love the guy, I think he needs to learn how to change his idea of how things should happen based on what other teams are doing to respond to how he typically plays, and that's what we saw here.
Do you know what, Alan? Talking of that, let's talk about that for a bit, because we haven't mentioned Conte at all in this fan show. What's your feelings on Conte? Like you said, you've mentioned obviously the lack of change of the system and substitutions. What would you like to see? Like if you were there and you were Conte, what would you have done differently? And what's your overall thoughts of him recently?
I just think from a management perspective, he needs to be less. He needs to be more malleable, less predictable. He's very predictable. And again, this team, Milan, in this scenario, knew that he was going to play 3 up top. He knew it was Son, Kane, and Kulusevski, because we played that front 3 for the past domestically. We played that front 3 as long as they're available this entire season. They knew exactly how to play against them. Isolate Kane, make sure Sonny can't get him behind. So whoever's on that side of that pitch doesn't let Sonny do what he needs to do. And Kulusevski, same thing. I mean, form-wise, he wasn't there. I think you need to change the formation slightly, even if it is for the last 20, 30 minutes. Bring in, if you're gonna bring in Richarlison, keep Kulusevski on, pull Kane into a 10, and have Richarlison play a 9 where he's a number 9. He's not a left forward or a right forward. He just isn't, especially on the right side. He's not even good there at all. He's good on the left side for Everton, but he's never been good on the right. So you have to. I just think managers need to be more malleable, and I think he's stubborn. We all know he's stubborn, but I think in this case, it's becoming so predictable, especially going forward. And when you have really good forwards who have expectations that they can't provide the thing they usually provide, hold up play for Kane, running in behind for Son or Kulusevski, when they're always marked, you're not going to get chances. And you watch this game, very few chances created from any of those typical scenarios that we're used to. The Kane-Son connection. Oh, there's the assist here, hold up play here, boom, hit him in behind. None of that exists anymore because everybody knows exactly what we're going to do.
And also, talking defensively, Romero, what did you make from his performance tonight?
So we all know Romero's got a bit of a thing in him, right? And I appreciate it. I do appreciate a little bit of the intensity, the passion, the grit that goes into what he does. He does need to learn to do something a bit different here. He's lucky to not get sent off. For me, I really think that's a red card further up the pitch a bit. If it's a scenario where there's a potential goal scoring opportunity, he's sent off. And it's emotional, which I appreciate because we need that in the side. We all remember Dele Alli, and we all when he got sort of curbed from being emotional, he became less of a player. I think that's what will happen with Romero too. We need to develop him so that he can do that, but time his tackles a little bit better because my God, it was pretty sloppy. We got lucky because he could have been sent off, and then again, he's red card means he doesn't play the next match, and. We all rely on him a lot, I think. I was watching earlier, there was a gentleman on, I forget his name, who was talking about him not being a top-rated defender. Center half. Yeah, Mike, yeah. I think most of his points I stand by, but I think that there's some things that he does that make him top class in his ability to replay and to get forward and to push the team forward, and that we don't have without him. And that really, from a transition perspective, especially without Bentancur, you need a player who's going to see those moments and push forward and win the ball back, and then get everybody forward and get into the opposition side of the pitch. He does that really well, and that is top class. That is something that very few defenders are able to do, and he does it really well. Having said that, he sometimes does what he did with Holmes getting a red card in that scenario, and it kind of fucks himself. So I think he is top class, but he's very young still. He's 22. I think he still has some development in him, but he will be top class. But he needs to learn how to do that effectively. Otherwise, he's going to get sent off too often.
Well, you know what I've got to say with that, Alan? It was just especially when you mentioned Dele Alli. I remember a few years ago when we were going for the league and we had Dele Alli. And we were going for the league. I can't remember if it was the Chelsea or Leicester season, but when he punched someone in the West Brom team, and then he was suspended for 3 because he lost his head, and then he was out for 3 big games. But then you look at Romero last season, where we said, you know what, he can't get booked for this game in case he misses Arsenal. He can't get booked because of this game. Yeah. And he didn't get booked. So
he did. He managed to keep going despite being booked.
And then he got injured for the Arsenal, so it didn't make a difference in the first place. But it just goes to show, when you compare Dele and Romero, I know exactly what you're trying to get at, but what I'm saying is it shows he can do it. He can do it.
Fair enough. And that was true last season, that he could
exactly.
do it. But we're now in a scenario this season where he's not doing it.
He just can't do
it. Like, he's done it twice. It's not twice now, right? Like we've all seen it. Like, this is twice in the last 2 games or 3 games. He keeps doing the same thing and getting caught for it, or getting called for it, and getting a card. So he's putting himself in bad situations, and he's putting the team in bad situations by doing it. He needs to be more. He needs to be more disciplined. He needs to be more of an adult when it comes to how to deal with those situations. We all want to see players go in and tackle hard and set the precedent. He did it against City, and it made the whole team kind of go boom, galvanize, right? Like, you galvanize the player that does that, which I love when players do that. And he did that against City. But then you go into the next game, and he goes and does it, and it's sloppy, and he kind of does it in a way that puts us under the cosh, and you don't really want to be in that situation. So it's discipline. I think it comes from experience, and I think he'll get to that, and I think he'll absolutely be top class. I agree that he needs to deal with that before he can be considered one of the best, but the potential is absolutely there.
With that, and going into the home leg, obviously with Eric Dyer out, I've been asking this question a lot. Let's see if are you sticking to suit with everyone saying the back 3 of Romero, Longley, Davies, or have you got a different back 3?
I think that's probably the best choice, but I don't think that's what Conte is going to decide on. And again, I think, I don't know why, but I think Sanchez will start in the middle with Romero on the right and Longley or Davies on the left. But I think Sanchez will start in the middle. I don't know why that'll happen, or why he thinks that's there's good reason for that, but I think that's what he'll do. I don't think it matters, though, honestly. Like, without Dyer, as much as Dyer is a complete waste case when it comes to, like, most of the time he defends, it's sad that he still is the best central defender we have. That says everything about where we are when it comes to our defense.
Do you know what? I have to say, with Sanchez, I think the only reason, and I've got a feeling it may be Sanchez as well, I've got a feeling maybe do that just for Leao. Because that guy looks like he's got the power and the pace, and I think he may be put there to nullify that.
I think that's a good shout. You sort of have to tactically think about the things you're going to do depending on who's available. Our defense, it's so obvious. It's so we all know. I mean, we talk about it on every channel we're on here. I'm sure Stell's going to come on and have a wee chat about the same thing. How frustrating it is to watch our defense. How much better it could be if we had have invested in it properly. Here we are with
Well, you say that, Ireland.
1-0 down away in any Champions League tie is normally not a bad result, but I'm concerned about how easily they dealt with our plan or lack of plan when it comes to getting forward. That I don't think they're going to struggle with our forwards if they do the same thing, because I don't think Conte is going to change it. Conte has to change what we do going forward, not our defense. Our defense didn't struggle. Our midfield didn't struggle. Yeah, we got a goal scored against us, but we didn't struggle. We struggled getting forward. We didn't get anything going forward. We did not get it. How many chances created? What was the XG? It was like 0.6 or something, and they had like 1.5. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, and that tells me everything. Something's wrong with going forward, not defending. Defending, yeah, we need to be better, but not in this tie. It's not the thing that we need to be concerned about the most. We need to figure out how to score against this team. We create chances, good chances, because we didn't. How many chances did we create? It was minimal. I think Romero probably had the best chance, and that tells you.
I think Pape Massesar had a
he had a good
30
shot.
yarder.
Good shot. Yeah, but 35 yards out, right, Bri?
Yeah, but also I'm thinking the one surprise that Antonio Conte could up his sleeve is my boy coming on in the second half of the second leg or something.
Oh my God, man.
Good old mate. You can shut your noise with your Emerson Royale. Alfie Devine is going to be Roy the Rovers and save the day. I have such faith and confidence in that man.
Again, shout out to the midfield today before I leave.
Big time.
You guys.
Yeah.
The midfield, Sarr and Skip were on point. Like there was a couple misplaced passes, like you'd sort of expect because there's a little bit of nervous energy there. But when it came to like understanding positional play and how to manage the situation against in a very intense, difficult situation, I think they were brilliant. I think they both played really well for different reasons. Sarr picked a couple of really nice passes, understood how to transition, which I think, we know that Bentancur is really good at that. And if you lose Bentancur, we lose transition. He made had a couple of moments, not as much as Bentancur, but it was a telling sign of like, he knows what he's doing. He's an intelligent footballer and we're going to get that out of him. Now, maybe not for the rest of the season. We're going to get to the level that Bentancur would give us, but it means it's not as dire, no pun intended, as it might.
Well, there we go, Ireland. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, brother. And we will be doing a show on Tottenham on Tour on Thursday at some point, Thursday afternoon, early evening our time.
Yes, sir.
Ireland, obviously, I will speak to you tomorrow. Pleasure speaking with you, brother. And we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Good to see you,
Look forward to hearing what you got to say about it. Been a pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
See you later on, Pip.
Big up,
Always
Brian.
a pleasure to speak to Ireland. Before we bring Estelle back on, we got a super chat in from Brandon. As in Brandon Troller, which is imagine if our defensive recruitment was good enough to sign talents like Thual, Kalalu, how did you put it? Kalalu?
It's actually Chow.
Chow, there we go.
That's how you pronounce it. If you're going to pronounce the name, Brian, you need to get it right.
Listen, my bad. My pronunciations on things can go a bit astray.
Chow, Kalulu, or Kim Min frickin' J. Yeah,
there we go.
Let's get them right.
You missed out cough.
Oh, sorry.
You can't see. There you go.
Kim
You're
Min
having a go at
frickin'
me
J.
if you don't be able to pronounce things. You're not even reading things that are on the super chat. How goddamn dare you?
Big up, Brandon.
Big up, my brother Brandon. Right.
To your brother.
Now that we've got over super chat gate, let's bring on King of the Wi-Fi,
King of the Wi-Fi,
and bring Stel back. Stel, how we doing, brother?
Can't hear him. This is unbelievable.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay. No, not echo again. Hold on.
Not echo again. Yes, echo again.
All right. I'll just have to go with the echo.
Let's do it then.
So I'm just looking at which bank card I should give to Barry so he can pay his rent, because I am pretty in his head. I'll WhatsApp you the details later, Barry.
So sorry. So no one can make a prediction, and then when you get it wrong, you can't say you got it wrong, right? It's not about living rent free. It's about saying, when I get something wrong, I'll hold my hands up. When you get something wrong, everyone's living rent free in your head.
I predicted we would lose
3-0. Yeah, 3-0. You said we'd lose 3-0.
You predicted we would win. You said we'd win. So you're wrong as well.
There's a severe lag where Stel is.
This is a massive lag, isn't it?
Let him speak. Stel, we're going to shut up and let you speak, and then when you finish, just make some kind of signal that you're finished, because your dial-up is fucking up again.
All right, I'll just talk about the game tonight because that's easier, rather than me and Barry going back and forth. I thought tonight overall, the result is a good one because we're still in the tie. I feel that taking Milan back to our ground I do think we've got a good chance now of knocking them out. We're very, very lucky because those 2 headers they missed, the tie's over.
Yeah.
And that would have been 3-0, but it's not. It's not, which means we're still in the game. I don't think we could have expected much more because the players we had out on the field, especially in the middle, we all were worried about it before the game. The goalkeeper's a worry as well. So, all in all, it's not a bad result for Tottenham. I was very disappointed, though, with the front three. Don't think they were horrific, but to not create any clear-cut chances. The crosses in general were awful. None of the crosses for me were good enough, whether it was from the left or the right, from the wing-backs, from the attacking players in general. That was a massive, massive letdown. I thought Kane got completely man-marked out the game. But Pape Sarr, he is definitely someone we can develop and nurture. And I said this when we got him. I said to everyone, the scouts that I spoke to at Manchester United were gutted that we got him because he was a player that they were looking at. So when they didn't get him, I knew that we had got someone that might be good. Now, there's no guarantees how he'll turn out or how good he'll be. But when Man United scouts go in for a player of that age and they don't get him, you know we've got ourselves good potential. But I'm not getting carried away. I'm gutted that Bentancur's out for 8 months because he's the perfect player to nurture him and guide him and actually teach him to become the player that he can potentially be. So missing Bentancur isn't just weak for the starting 11. It's a loss for Pape Sarr as well. But that's kind of my take on the game. The one negative I would have in terms of how I feel the manager could have done better, the last 20 minutes, he should have directed all the players to just take shots as soon as they got in and around the box because their goalie was carrying an injury and we didn't test their goalie who was injured.
Really, Estelle, Joe, you bang on there, you bang on, but you look at it, Kane, I think Kane is the one that you would have trusted the most with the long-range efforts, but he was just, like you said, completely marked out the game, wasn't he?
Oh, listen, their tactic to man-mark Kane was really good. He never got into the game, and you could see it because a lot of his passes went astray, but he wasn't the only one. A lot of our passes were sloppy tonight. It's just a shame that when we got into the box, just take a shot, like have a go. Don't worry about trying to beat another man or finding a pass. Just have a go. And I think we might have got some luck because every time their goalie jumped in the air and caught the ball and landed, you could see his ankle was hurting him. And we never tested him. We never really tested their goalie, and he was so vulnerable. But there you go. 1-0. I think we were all taken the 1-0 before the game started based on the injuries that we've got at the moment.
Yeah, and still, do you fancy us to do it in the second leg? Here we go. Let's see what you got to say.
Yeah, I think we'll beat them. I think it's going to be.
I'll ask you about 90 minutes or extra time.
Oh, that I don't know. I mean, Tottenham trying to predict the exact details is impossible. I just saw enough of us with possession going forward to say that we can trouble them, but we need to start being clinical and the decision making needs to be much better than what it was tonight. For example, Perisic got the ball, he got down the byline and he's tried to cross it across the face of the goal when Heung-min Son is 6 yards out waiting for the ball to be squared back to him. And you're thinking, come on, freaking pick out Son. It's a 1-1. But it's small like that will make the difference. So, and I do think we'll have chances. Well, we're not going to have hardly any like we did tonight again. The only concern is that Milan, they did get in behind us and they did have some good chances from those headers and they did score. So defensively, we're a worry. Dyer's out as well now. So again, the defense has to change. Another makeshift defense. But I do think we'll have a lot more chances, and I reckon we'll beat them on the night. We'll go through, just squeeze past Milan.
There we go. There we go, Stel. Well, listen, brother, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. And we will speak very, very soon.
Yeah, Brian, Barry, listen, big up, man. I actually, for the last 30 minutes, I turned off BT Sports and I just watched you two because you're a good double act. It's not a bad combination in the studio. Maybe you two need to get in there again.
I think we are. I think we are.
We are for Sheffield United.
Oh, there you go. That could be fun and games. So yeah, Nick will be on his wine gums. I might join him on here. We may get some more sing-songs. Who knows? We might be able to pronounce all of the players' names for both of them.
Sheffield United, maybe. Yeah,
we'll have to do our research on Sheffield United players.
No, there's no. We don't do research. If we do research, it's not fun, is it? Off the cuff.
There you
Tara Masalata.
There you go.
Salamakers. All of these players. Yeah, let's just have some fun.
United.
Yeah. Gotta have some
and
fun,
as always, Barry rent-free, Barry rent-free, Barry rent-free.
Who's this guy?
It's been a musical as well tonight.
It's been a musical.
So
look, he's gone. He's gone. We kicked him out.
What would you have sung back to him?
It's just not even worth singing back, mate. If I'm honest,
no,
because I'll get if I sing back, then I'll be accused of anything else. You know,
rent-free.
Exactly.
Okay, I've got you. Have we got anyone else, Vinny?
That's it.
Okay, well,
wonderful.
That was another one. Watch along. Unfortunately, we have lost 1-0 to AC Milan in the first leg.
Are you on there?
I had to swallow, and I was like,
We lost two.
We lost two. Let me just.
A team in Italy.
I don't know
that playing red and
I
white.
don't know why you do that. I haven't just done a watch along blind, have I?
Well, I don't know.
But
you didn't know who he played.
You've just watched us in the 1-0 defeat.
Stevie Wonder. My name's Barry. This is Stevie Wonder.
I have no idea. We've lost control of the watch along and the fan show once again. Big thanks to Vinny, who's been with us, and Queever in the back end, and for buying my double cheeseburger and Coke. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always,
come on, you Spurs.